I'm going to take 2 eggs, I'm going to use a stick of butter, and I'm going to take a blender. I'm going to blow your mind. If you're one of those people who would love to have some sauces, some gravies, some mayo, up your fat, maybe even get a little extra protein, and double down on having all of the flavor and enjoyment of everything you eat that you possibly can, this video is for you. This is very simple. It is very straightforward. It is fail-proof as long as you have a blender, and it is something that I've never seen anybody else do, so I've been loving the results of doing this during my recipe tests. We're gonna take some eggs and some butter, and I'm gonna show you a couple of different ways of doing a protein-focused, easy-to-do blender hollandaise and protein mayo right now on Chris Cookin' Nashville. Back when I released my first spreadable butter mayo video, a couple of things came up with that recipe. What about the raw egg whites in your mayo? Because Dr. Berry has talked about how egg whites can be an anti-nutrient if they are not cooked. And I heard all of you, so this is going to address that issue for any of those of you who might be concerned about that. I also know a lot of people said they had a hard time with that mayo recipe because they don't have an immersion blender. And as a result, they ended up having mayo that failed. I'm gonna give you an easy to do version of it in a blender. You can actually adjust the texture of it however you want, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that. But before we dive into the mayo, I'm actually going to show you its sister sauce, the Hollandaise. Sauce Hollandaise is a very popular sauce which uses egg yolks, oil, butter, something of that fatty nature to create an emulsified cooked sauce. It's very similar to mayo, but the eggs are actually cooked instead of being raw or just lightly pasteurized, which is how mine ends up working. We're gonna make the Hollandaise, and then I'll tell you how to adjust it to make the mayonnaise version. So I have a pan of water that is coming up to a simmer, and I don't want this really simmering and bubbling on top. I actually want this to just be starting to release bubbles from the bottom. 2 eggs, crack them into a separate container that you can easily pour them out of. That way you can do it gently right down against the surface of the water and you don't have to worry about breaking them. We're going to poach these eggs 1 to 2 minutes until the whites have become cloudy and fully set and the yolk on the inside is still really liquid. We're cooking the albumin, the white, the proteins that we would not want to emulsify with our fat, but we are still able to leave it in there and we actually get the benefit of eating those proteins. We're then going to use the yolk and we're going to actually emulsify that with the fat, whether we make the hollandaise or whether we do the mayonnaise. Let's go ahead and put these eggs in. We're going to gently poach them, and then you'll need a slotted spoon or some kind of strainer like this, something to get the eggs out of the water and into your blender. And then I'll show you how we turn it into hollandaise. Now that the eggs are poached, I have them in my blender and you see both of the yolks popped as soon as I drop them in there on top of the blades of the blender. I'm going to get a stick of butter melting over a medium heat. We want this to be essentially boiling hot. While that is melting down, we're gonna go ahead and prepare everything over here. And by the way, I have a link down below for you guys for Vitamix because I do affiliate work with them. If you want a high-powered blender that does something like this better than any other blender, Vitamix is the way to go. I use mine almost every day in my kitchen. They last forever. I'm actually gonna get you guys special prices you can't get anywhere else. So go down to the description box, you can find those things, and any blender will work, but Vitamix is definitely the best. While we're waiting for the butter here to melt, I'm going to add in a couple of teaspoons of lemon juice. It's optional, but the tang is really good for a hollandaise. So I'm gonna put that in. And this is totally optional, but if you like a little spice, a little bit of cayenne pepper in a hollandaise is always a nice touch. Doesn't take very much. Once the hollandaise is complete, we will taste it and add salt, pepper, anything else we would like to season it. But in the meantime, we're gonna stick with just the fat, this acid, and the eggs. Our butter is boiling hot. We are going to turn our blender on low And we're going to take boiling hot butter and slowly pour it in to the running blender. Be careful you do not burn yourself. This is going to cook those egg yolks and emulsify the fat and give us beautiful hollandaise. Once all the butter is in there, let's crank it up on high. Now, about 20 seconds on high and you are left with a really beautiful hollandaise. We'll adjust the seasoning and all of that in a moment. However, this is a time where you can decide if you want to adjust the texture. If you like it thinner, you can leave it exactly the way that it is and serve it immediately and just adjust those seasonings. If you like it a little thicker and fattier, you can do what I'm about to do. And you can use bacon grease, you can use beef tallow, you could use beef fat that comes off some burger patties, which is what I'm about to do. What's really nice is using something like bacon grease, you actually get the flavor of bacon in your hollandaise. And because of those egg white proteins in there, it actually makes the mixture more stable, so it's less likely to split. So this is some leftover beef fat from cooking a couple of beef patties for my cornflake versus beef video. I'll link that down below for you guys if you'd like to check it out. It's really cool if you haven't seen it. I'm just gonna pour in a couple of tablespoons. That'll be plenty. It doesn't really matter, but the more you start pouring in fat, the firmer this is going to get as it cools down. So I'm just gonna do a couple of tablespoons. And that's going to add a really nice beefy flavor to our hollandaise. And now we're just going to turn it up on high for about 20 seconds to make sure it's fully emulsified. So that is our completed hollandaise sauce, at least as far as the emulsification goes. This is a beautiful, thick, rich, custard texture. We've whipped a bunch of air into it, which is also going to help stabilize it and make it fluffy on the palate. Next thing we need to do though is taste it for seasoning and adjust accordingly. It's so rich, it's so buttery, it is so smooth, it needs just a pinch of salt. Blend in your seasoning. That is beautiful, it is simple, it is an amazing texture. Take a look at this beautiful, rich, thick, creamy, buttery hollandaise. And because you have the extra egg white proteins in there, it is more stable. Even if this goes down to room temperature, it is not going to break on you as easily. And if you're careful, you might even be able to reheat it gently and still keep that beautiful texture. Let's see what Ash thinks of the way it tastes. I promised to tell them how to make mayo as well, spreadable butter mayo. So hang on just a minute and let me show you what we're working with that. Here is the spreadable butter mayo version of this. This is refrigerator cold. This is kind of like a whipped cream cheese texture. You can make it thinner than this if you want, or you can leave it thick. Instead of using 2 eggs, you're going to use 1, and you're going to still do the full stick of butter, and then you're going to add in 1 teaspoon of hot water from the pan that you poach the eggs in, like I did here, or if you want it thinner, 2 teaspoons of hot water. Now, instead of the lemon juice, I used apple cider vinegar because I think that's a better flavor. A teaspoon of Dijon mustard, or you can use any kind of mustard you want, but I really like Dijon. If you want a flavored mayo, feel free to add anything else that you would like to it. I'm going to put both recipes on the recipe card. The science of keeping the egg white cooked to help stabilize the mixture, but using that raw but pasteurized egg yolk. It's such a cool way of making hollandaise or this spreadable butter mayo. You don't want to go too fast with the butter, but you can actually do it quite a bit faster than you can with an immersion blender because of the fact that it does a better job keeping it all mixed up. The only other thing you want to be careful of is because this is a cooked hollandaise sauce, the butter is boiling. Over on the mayo, when you put the butter in there, don't make it boiling. Melt it like in the microwave, or just keep it hot around 140 to 160 degrees. That's the only thing you have to worry about. Give that hollandaise a taste.
Are you a wizard, by the way?
I'm something. I don't know if I'm a wizard.
I've never seen someone do something so cool with eggs and butter. That is bomb. And the beef fat in there is nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's rich, it's creamy. Sorry, I'm gonna do a little.
No, that's okay. This is gonna be going on chicken wings that we're about to eat here in a little bit, so we're gonna have a good time.
That is absolutely delicious. That is a great, great sauce. Man, that is seriously so freaking good.
Yeah.
Things like this, I think, are such a great tool, though, when you're trying to be low carb and you're maybe trying to get your protein up or get your fat up.
This is also wonderful on things like salmon, cod, shrimp. Like there's all kinds of different proteins that you could put this on. You can put this over veggies if you're one of the keto variety folks. This is really great on so many things. Modify the recipe slightly and get a spreadable mayo.
And I have tried that mayo. Since you've been experimenting and coming up with this, that mayo is awesome.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's almost, like I said, it's like a whipped kind of cream cheese texture, but you could double the amount of water, put in 2 teaspoons instead of 1, and you'll get a more spreadable mayo. And if you want it even thinner, put even more than that. You can customize it. It's just adding that hot water right before you pour it into the bowl and stick it in the fridge.
Yeah.
You guys go ahead, go check out the recipe card, make some Hollandaise or some mayo. This is Chris cooking Nashville, the beautiful Ash Taylor. You guys eat your meat, maybe with some Hollandaise or some spreadable butter mayo version 3.0 now. Love your life. We'll see you in the kitchen for crazy science experiments that turn into really tasty things like this. And if you like Hollandaise or this spreadable mayo made with poached eggs, you got to check out this video right over here.
This is like a bowl of soup. You can just like keep,
Maybe I should put those in the cookbook.
Maybe you should put them in the cookbook. What a great idea.